First Things First is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
We did it! We got to Friday. We had football almost all week. We got to Friday where we get to do what? Talk about more football. Greatest show on earth. Jenna Wolf, Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wild. This is First Things First.
I can't vouch for that.
Did I start too high?
I think it's a very good morning sports television show. Greatest show on earth.
Like Cam, you have no confidence.
For us to clear.
You're like Cam, no confidence.
My last job.
Oh,
you gotta have confidence, brother.
I mean, okay,
my
fair
last
enough.
job,
Right,
they called that a great morning show. I figure it was me, wherever
there
I
you
take
go.
it. Let's start with some football. The aforementioned football, Patriots, Rams. What a night from Cam last night, right, guys? No, not Cam Newton. He was sacked 4 times, threw a pick-6, and was benched in the 4th. I'm talking Cam Akers. Rams running back rushing for 171 yards. And then as predicted, the Rams defense did the rest. Rams get the win. They're now 9-4. Patriots lose. They're now, who cares? Because they've got a quarterback problem. Here's Cam Newton on getting benched in the 4th quarter.
Coach took you out of the game with a little over 10 minutes left. Are you concerned about not or being benched for next week or anything like that?
That's not my call. I'm just doing what I'm asked. I just have to still go into each and every week with the mentality to keep getting better, and that's what I plan on doing.
Bill, I wanted to ask you about just the quarterback. You're going to stick with Cam next week at quarterback?
Yeah, great question, Mike. I'm really glad you asked that. Cam's our quarterback.
Bill Belichick has no press conference integrity whatsoever. He's just going to say whatever he feels like saying and then let the chips fall when they decide to fall.
He's the
Clearly,
best.
there's an issue at quarterback for the New England Patriots, regardless of what Bill Belichick says. Brandon, should he bench Cam, or do you let him finish out the season at this point?
Yeah. Bill Belichick can't afford to bench Cam Newton. Look, the Patriots are cooked. They're done. And they're going fishing for the first time since 2008, 12 years. The Patriots need Cam Newton. Let's say they go with Jarrett Stidham. This would be a PR nightmare. This guy goes in, he throws 4 or 5 picks. The headline every week is going to be the Patriots get blown out. Jarrett Stidham is not the guy. Jarrett Stidham throws 3 picks. Look, the New York Jets may get their first win if they go with Jarrett Stidham. So Bill Belichick knows he needs Cam Newton because, look, you're out of the playoffs, but moving forward, you don't want to go into the offseason on a 4-game losing streak. You look at that game last night, Nick, they were in it. The offense looked terrible, and what changed the game was that pick-6. That was a 10-point swing. If it wasn't for that, who knows what would have happened in the 3rd, 4th quarter. Bill Belichick needs Cam Newton. Cam Newton needs to find his confidence and finish the season strong.
And by the way, just if you didn't watch last night, it looked like the Patriots had a pick-6 to make it 10-7. Players ruled down. A couple plays later, Cam throws one of his own. It's 17-0. And like I said yesterday, the Patriots are an offense that can't overcome a holding penalty, let alone a defensive touchdown by the other team. It was over. It was over that moment. By the way, the under came in America. You're welcome again. But on the Cam Newton question, he is not blocking some quarterback of the future's development. Again, we have no memory. But I will remind America, when Cam couldn't play, Bill Belichick started Brian Hoyer. Jarrett Stidham has thrown 33 passes this year. 3 of them have been caught by the opposing team. So as bad as Cam has been, there is not the next quarterback of the Patriots on the roster unless somehow it is Cam. Now, I am as skeptical of that in this moment this morning as I've ever been. But the quarterback on the roster that they need to evaluate for next year, because unfortunately, Wilds, at this point, it is all about next year, is Cam. To find out, is he cooked as a player, or is he simply still dealing with some injury to where you can see him getting better at the end of the year? Because if Cam Newton is not the starting quarterback for the 2021 New England Patriots, then whomever that person is not on the roster. It is not going to be Jarrett Stidham, and it's obviously not going to be Brian Hoyer Wilds.
Well, that's the scariest part for me. And Nick, as you know, you have your committee. My own committee was up deep into the night. It was Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Paul Pierce, Manny Ramirez, myself. We all gather at my home after Patriots games. And I'm unveiling the first Wilds Tears. It's T-E-A-R-S of the Patriots, if we can put them up here. This was the most painful moments for me, Nicholas. First up, it was a rushing Hail Mary. Uh-oh, end of the half. What are we going to do? A Greg Williams favorite. We ran the ball. That's how inept the offense is with the camera. He can't throw it to the end zone. We ran the ball, actually picked up a lot of yardage. So I was like, hey, that's not bad. At least it's good for your fantasy teams. Nope, nullified on a penalty. Coming back. What's the next line? Oh, Aaron Donald in the Rams defense. 6 sacks. And there's Cam Akers, who, if I check my notes, ran for 800 yards. First play down, first drive. I'm like, this game's over. This game is over. Are they going to score in 1 minute? All right, next up, Josh McDaniels and Nick Folk. Don't get me wrong, Nick Folk did a good job. He made 3 points. The only Patriot doing anything on offense. 4th and 2, we decided to kick a field goal because we have no confidence we can get 2 yards, Nick. 2 yards. So how do we figure we're going to get 14 points in the second half when Sean McVay is now 34-0 in the... Hold on, Brandon. I'm too fired up. I'm going to come through the screen and meet you in a second.
I got to hear it. I got to hear the Cam and Belichick part.
Josh McDaniels. Hey, great job calling 4 rushing plays. It only caused Terry Bradshaw, Hall of Famer, to call it, quote, the worst offense he's ever seen.
Wow.
Still going, stand by. Cam Newton had 9 completions. One of them should have been an interception. We all know when he went up, I was like, wow, that's a great play. And then finally, the future. This was the most painful part. What is happening? We have no chance. You guys are like, well, it may be evaluate Cam. Guys, let's just call it like it is. The guy had 9 completions. It doesn't look good. I want to root for him. But it's not Stidham.
Do you?
It's not Brian Hoyer. It's not Cam. I do. I love Cam. It's not Cam. And if you say Carson Wentz, I'm going to take my microphone off and come through the screen. So those were the Wilds Tears. The committee and I were up. You do it a lot more, non-emotional, but the committee was very fired up last night. The fact that Matt Damon had to come all the way from LA. It's a lot of everybody who was in the town, basically. Everybody who was in the town. Just
I appreciate I appreciate you. Yes, that's right. I appreciate you actually naming your guys on your committee. Nick Wright, can we please get a glimpse into your committee? Who's in your committee?
No. Okay. We're cloak and dagger. It's like the skulls. No. You can't know. You can't deal with the threats and the blowback from that. I want to say one thing about someone on Wilds Tears that Jen, I know we're going to get to later in the show. Aaron Donald now has 45 and a half sacks in his last 45 games. We saw J.J. Watt 7, 8 years ago go on an unbelievable run where we talked about his ranks amongst the all-time great defensive players. Aaron Donald has a legitimate chance to become the greatest interior defensive lineman in the history of the league. He has a real chance for that. Sir. And we are watching absolute magnificent, unprecedented level of play on a week-in, week-out basis. And I just wanted to highlight it for a moment before we move on, because he's unstoppable in this league.
And guess where he's from? He's from Pittsburgh. Penn Hills, boy.
Oh, yeah, that's
Pittsburgh
true.
in the building.
That is true.
Well, it was that. And listen, the Rams defense was the star of the game last night by far, and Aaron Donald led the way. Let's move on to Big Ben and Josh Allen. Ben versus Josh, Steelers versus Bills. Both Brandon's teams, but wait till you hear who's he's picking and why. That's next. This is First Things First.